How's it going, everyone? So here's my beehive. I normally have 2 beehives, but this year I only have the 1 going. Okay, so what I got here, this is my bear deterrent. All right, so I got boards with nails, so obviously I'm going to get rid of them as I'm working. So let's do that. So when working around bees, try to move slowly, not too aggressive. Does that guarantee that you won't get stung? No, just less likely to get stung. Best place to stand when you are going to stand around a beehive. There's really no real good place. Again, it's always the stuttering here, always the potential of getting stung. So I will say that disclaimer, if you have an allergy to bees, make sure you got that ready, like an EpiPen or something, you know, and you should be wearing a suit, which I am going to put on when I start getting into the beehive. Okay, so I'm going to take off the front board. Standing in the front, like I said, is the worst place to stand. This time of year too, late in the nectar season, the nectar's pretty much done, the nectar flow. The bees do tend to be a little more aggressive because obviously they're trying to get every last drop. So are other wasp and other bee types. So they may be in that more protective mode of their honey because they know winter's coming and they want it every bit they can. So what we're going to do again today, I'm going to look in there to make sure their situation on mites. I'll show you a natural night mite protector that I make for them. I learned this from someone else. And I'll show you how I make that. But I'm also going to see if there's enough honey for me to extract, and if not, to make sure there's enough honey for them for the winter. So we're looking for at least 50 pounds of honey. 60 would be better for them for the winter season. The season is not over though as far as nectar flow. There's still some flowers out there. So I'm not shutting them down now, but I'm just checking to see where they're at right now because we got about another week, about another month or so, maybe, 2 weeks definitely of the nectar flow. Okay, so first things we're gonna do is get a fire going. So we smoke out the bees. And what the smoke is doing, it doesn't do anything to the bees as far as, making them scared of you, whatever. It's not drugging them, if you will. It does put them in a fight or flight situation. Think of a forest fire. So what they're doing, you got a lot of bees in the top chamber here. Okay, they're all over, from top to bottom. Primarily, generally speaking, when we talk bees, it's general, but generally speaking, the queen is going to be in this second box. These are called brood boxes. Well, honey boxes. You have some people call them deeps. These are a deeper box, as you see. I don't know if you can tell. Deeper box. This is more shallow. So some people call this the brood box. Brood is the eggs that the queen lays. She's going to lay them primarily down here in the brood boxes or the deeps. Okay, there's also honey. There's also pollen. There's propolis, things like that inside here. Okay, but then these are the shallows. Again, generally, this is where the extra honey goes. This would be the honey that you would take for yourself. Okay, so anyways, bees are going to be all up and down here. So when you introduce smoke, the smoke is putting them in that fight or flight mode. Less concerned with you at this moment, but more concerned with the queen and making sure that she's safe and that they're going to get some honey and get out of here. So you don't want to over smoke them, okay, which is it's not easy to do. But you don't want to be going crazy with a ton of smoke because they might just get the queen and take off. You might have a swarm because they're thinking, again, forest fire situation, okay? So if they feel as if it's going to be a fire is imminent, they're going to leave. So the smoke, again, is just there to kind of give them that preoccupation of we need to get down, start maybe storing some honey in their cheeks, if you will, start getting the queen ready, and they're staying down there. Is that 100% that you're not going to get stung? Again, that they may not come after you? No, there's always, I mean, stragglers, there's thousands of bees in here. There's always that percentage that you're going to have some flying around you. So again, that's why we wear a mask or the netting. Some people don't, and that's, hey, more power to them. Okay, so let's get a fire going. This bellow thing, I actually don't know what it's called. It might just be called the bellows, but just whatever. It's a honey fire can I have. Okay, so I stuffed the leaves in here, dry wood, you know, just to start a fire. But I also collect more wet, this is actually literally wet, kind of punky wood, because I want smoke too. I just don't want blazing heat coming out of here. Oh, see, there we go. We also don't want blazing heat coming out of here. All right, so we want smoke. So if you get stung, I mean, it hurts, but it's not the end of the world. All right, so what we're gonna do is light this up. Best thing to do, if you do get stung, sometimes it's good to get this going. Put a little smoke on your hand. Get a little smoke around, because it kind of takes away that pheromone smell, so you don't get other bees attacking you. If you do own bees, get used to getting stung. Again, you try to minimize it. I one time got stung on the face. Getting stung on the more sensitive spots really sucks, and they tend to blow up more than getting stung other places. That looks pretty funny. I look like I got beat up. So a net over your face is always a plus. All right, being a little stubborn today. It never stops amazing me how, as a firefighter, we go out and fight brush fires. These fires seem to just start out of nowhere. I got dry wood in here, dry leaves, a match, or a lighter, wind blowing on it, and it doesn't want to light. I don't get it sometimes. So. That's right, hopefully trying to bring not only knowledge of working out and diet, but this is part of the diet part of it. This is all part of my working out regimen, if you will. That honey is very valuable in helping you recover from your workouts. It's full of minerals, vitamins. You hear me say that a lot, vitamins, minerals, okay, because I'm all about nutrient density, not just calories, not just protein and carbs, but minerals and vitamins are very important. All right, now we're getting this going. So once we get a good fire going, I'm going to put the wet wood in there. Okay, so going back to the nutrition of honey, honey is loaded with all kinds of good stuff, you know. So it's great for a replenishment of your glycogen levels, okay, of your sugar levels, to help you get back to training and feeling more recovered from your workout. Great for your workout, okay. Again, as I said before, I'm pretty sure I said it, antioxidants. Okay, the antioxidants are great for recovery. And honey's delicious, really. Use it for all kinds of things. I mean, it's wound healing, like not just internal wound healing. If you have cuts, stung by a bee, put it on there. Helps heal all that stuff. So, this is why I have my own bees. At first, the initial cost can be expensive, but honey in itself is expensive because of its tremendous values. But unfortunately, you don't always know if you're getting good honey when you buy it at a store. Honey is one of those foods, it's one of the most fake foods, if you will, in the store. It could be loaded with corn syrup, other syrups, okay? It's not pure honey. So you're not getting really what you're paying for, and you're not getting the benefits that you're looking for, as I just mentioned. So the best way to do it is to own your own bees, get your own beehive. It's a little bit of work to extract it. It's not the end of the world. It's a lot cheaper. I mean, a good honey right now is costing about $1 a pound. So a gallon of honey is 12 pounds. So, I'm sorry, I said $1 a pound. I wish it was $1 a pound. $10 a pound. 10 times that. $10 a pound. So a gallon of honey is going to cost you $120. It cost me about $120 for the bees. A good beehive during a good nectar flow, you can probably get 120 pounds of honey in that year. Okay, you can extract honey twice. Now this year I just happened to get these bees. Okay, so the chances of me getting honey this year from them unfortunately may not be good. Okay, because they were building up their hive, building up wax and all that. So I may not get any honey this year, but next year definitely have honey. But we'll see. We're gonna get in there. So what I'm gonna do now is just pause here for a moment. I'm just gonna go and get my bee suit. I went and got the bee suit on. Obviously you can see it. I brought gloves with me. I normally don't like to use the gloves. They just impede on my being able to move around with the frames. But like I said, sometimes they get aggressive, and this time of year they tend to be a little more aggressive. So if I feel they're getting aggressive, stinging my hands more than I want, they normally don't. They normally don't, but sometimes they do. So I have it on standby. This here is a hive tool. Okay, it's like a little mini crowbar. It's great for prying, and this stuff gets really stuck, as you'll see. Okay, so let's unveil the cover. All right, so here's the top case, the top lid. Okay, then you have the inner lid. So there's a bunch of bees right here. The cameraman is playing it safe by staying away. He doesn't have a suit with him. But what we're gonna do is go ahead and smoke these bees down. Remember, as I talked, they will wanna go down. So just introduce some smoke to them. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and open this up. You'll see how this is really stuck. And I mean, I can muscle it, but as I said, we want to try to be as gentle and less jolty movements. It's less stressful for the bees. So we don't want to do that. So just crack it with this. Okay, open this up. You can't really see me right now, but I put it upside down. That way, minimize on the crushing of bees, for obvious reasons. Okay. Really having a hard time with this piece staying on fire today. So let's get some good smoke again. Best time to go into the beehive is on a day like this, nice and sunny out. If there's any con today, it's really windy, so sometimes it goes against you in the smoke. But that's really a minor thing. You want to go in here when it's nice out though, because when it is nice and sunny out, the majority of the bees are going to be out looking for nectar. When it's raining or really cold out, they're all huddled in here. So it's just more problems you got to deal with. All right, now we got some good smoke coming out of this. So I'll go ahead and just give them a couple puffs of smoke. Oh, as you can see, the wind is just blowing the smoke away, fighting me. But I think we did what we needed to do there. Actually, I'll go ahead and move this inner cover over here just to kind of show you guys what that looks like. I don't know if Mike wants to come around. What I do is I work my way down, okay? I can already feel there's no honey in there, nothing for me to grab. Normally that would probably weigh about 30 pounds, 30 to 40 pounds. That feels like nothing really. So I know there's no honey in there. So I'm not expecting, as I said in the beginning, this year, they're a new hive. I'm not expecting any honey to be extracting for myself. I'm just making sure that they have enough for themselves. Okay, so this is that. We got the first, second brood box, okay, that we talked about. Generally speaking, okay, this is where the a lot of the stuff's going on in the hive. Okay, the queen is generally down in this area. All right, so let's see if we can find her today. The queen does look different. I don't know if the camera is going to catch up on that. So what I do is I move one hive, one frame. This is what a frame looks like. This is an empty frame. They haven't had a chance to really build it up. They generally build from the inside out, okay? And it being a new hive, it's not going to get a lot done this year as far as the building. They just got to make sure they have enough for themselves for next year. As they say in sports, this was a building year. Next year they'll be better. So that's what we're going to go for. Next year they'll be better. So here is a hive here. I don't know how close we can get with that bee, with that camera. So these are all the female worker bees. Okay, if I see a male drone, I'll show you. So I'm looking for the queen when I find her. If we do find her, it's not always easy. I'll show you. And I'm also looking to see if there's any mites on them. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it with the camera if we do see them. But mites are basically a tick on the bees. So if you think about that, with bees already being tiny, there's actually ticks tiny enough to suck life out of bees. Okay? So again, this honeycomb stuff is the comb. As you see right here, this stuff right here, that's honey. That's capped honey there. Okay? So the good news is I don't see any mites so far on the bees. I'm going to put this back. Okay. Remember that whole calm mode. Okay, try not to be too jolty. Does happen at times. Some stuff gets stuck pretty hard, and sometimes you have to, you know, use a little bit of jolting movements. I try not to kill any bees either, as I am trying to move the frames out. This is nothing that we're in a rush. We don't need to be rushy. Okay. This frame right here is feeling pretty heavy. There's a good amount of honey here. So I'm keeping track. These frames here, they should be giving you about 4 to 6 pounds each one if they're full. And that's what this feels like. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but if you look, you can see liquid honey. It's not capped yet. Okay, this is capped honey right here. This is liquid honey. So soon it will be capped. This time of year, as we said, it's later in the season. You're not going to find many drones. Drones are the male bees. And the reason why you're not going to find any drones here, because drones, their job for the season is pretty much done. All they do is keep initially, the fresh queen. They get her pregnant, they dump all their sperm to her, and then she becomes fertilized and she's able to lay eggs for the rest of her life, up to 1,500 a day. Okay, so that's early in the season. This place is loaded with drones, okay, for any new queens that are going to be spawned, for a splitting of the hive, all that stuff. But anyways, late in the season, bees are not dumb. They don't need the drones anymore. So basically the worker bees, the female bees here, they kill the drones and clean them out. So you'll see dead drones a lot of time, okay, because they don't need to be feeding mouths that ain't going to contribute to anything. So there's a lesson in life. If you're not contributing, maybe you shouldn't be eating. All right. So this is good, another heavy one. So we're, I would say, up to 10 pounds of honey right now. Okay, so I found the queen. You can come on over, cameraman. They're not gonna, they seem calm right now. So the queen is right there. You can see she is marked. You see her right there. She's longer, not so much thicker than the other ones, but she's longer. Okay, so it's good that she's still alive this late in the season. Last thing you want to do is lose a queen right now. Okay, actually, I'm actually seeing another queen in here, which is, I've never seen two queens in the same hive. One right there. So that's actually something new to me. Usually you at this point would have the two queens, they're going to fight and they're going to swarm. So that's probably unfortunately going to happen. So maybe I'm going to have to go ahead and take that queen out and and split the hive. Wasn't expecting to do that right now, but I'm going to have to do that. So that might be something that we do next. I'm not prepared to do that, so that will be the next video. I'm probably going to do that ASAP. So good news, we have two queens. Say that again? Yeah, that one is empty. So I'm going to have to take that old queen out, bring her over there, and the new queen will be living over here. And then the old queen will have loyals that follow her over there. All right. I don't know if we lost the fire. Looks like we did. All right, just give it a couple more puffs of smoke there. Check out another frame. Don't want to squish anybody here, so they all like to hover sometimes in the worst spot, like where you want to jam this thing in, you know. How dare I come in here and disturb them while they're working. Oh yeah, that's a heavy one. So there's, I would say again, another 5 pounds. All right, come on, bee. So when you got bees flying around you, the best thing to do is, again, try to stay calm. I just had like 2 on my hand. Most of them are just coming to check things out. I don't want to get stung, so I just sit there and let them do their thing. Okay? When you start seeing them too, like they got their butts up in the air, they're getting aggressive, you know, they probably showing they're getting tired of you hanging around here, you know. So, all right, so we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames of honey with, I don't want to squish anybody, I'm going to put all this back, 6 frames of honey at about 5 pounds each. So we got about 30 pounds of honey in this brood box here. So again, I'm just moving slowly and deliberately. I'm not trying to be jerky with putting like that. Okay, don't need to upset them. All right, I'm gonna put that frame back. So I would say it's a rough estimate. I got about 30 pounds of honey in this box right here. Not for me to take, because like I had said, I got to keep them, I got to leave them minimum 50 pounds of honey for the winter season. 60 would be even better. So I'm going to check the other box. Generally there isn't much in here. It's mostly like pollen and things like that. I'm still learning too. There's still a lot to learn about bees. Like earlier I said, I gotta split it. I'm not 100% sure I've done that correctly. So I have people that help me. So reach out, definitely reach out to people, okay? I have a limited amount of knowledge. You can reach out to me. I'll be more than glad to try to answer your questions. But if I can't answer them, I know people that can. All right. So, just taking a look here, see what we got here. Okay. So, it's always easier to take out the first one, and that leaves you room to move frames around. So again, we want to minimize on squashing bees. So I put things like that. Basically what I'm looking for here, again, I'm just looking while they're all clustered right here for any mites. Which again, good news is, I don't see any. I've lost bees to mites, and you'll see it. We got multiple bees with little red tiny bugs on them. They're like a little tick. What makes the mite bad, it's not so much because it's draining the energy of the actual bee that's an adult bee, but they go in and suck the life out of the larvae or the little eggs while they're young, and that's how you lose your hive, because you got 1,500, 3,000, whatever bees that haven't even been born yet already dying. So I think that that's self-explanatory. So as I'm feeling here and looking, these don't look like there's any honey in them. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and close this up. I can tell they're starting to get a little agitated, which is fine. I don't blame them. Okay, I'm here invading their home, bugging them while they're just trying to, like I said, get ready for winter. And here's somebody trying to steal their last rations, if you will. Well, that's what they think, at least. All right, so let's see if we can get some more smoke out of this thing. It died on me. I can tell they're getting a little impatient with me. So let's smoke them up a little bit. The reason why I also want to put a little smoke here right now is when I put the boxes back, the brood boxes, a lot of times bees like to hang out on the edges here, and I want to minimize on squashing them, you know. So I use the smoke to blow them off. I don't really want to brush them because that only irritates them. You're most likely going to start getting them to attack you. So I gently just smoke them. With the bee suit on, you're fine, well, as far as getting attacked. But why irritate your bees if you don't need to? Because I really do believe they remember you for irritating them. There's been times I come out here and I do that. I irritate them and get things like, get them agitated again. And they've remember it. I feel like they come out a couple of days later and they're still, I'll be on the other side of the yard, they're attacking me. So they're like, oh, there's that guy. Okay. Alright, get this going again. Alright. Some good smoke. Actually, I'm going to use this. Some nice smoke on here. So you see how that wind doesn't help you, you know? That's what I hate about it at times. Okay. First box back. So everything's lined up. Okay. actually pretty well. Not too many on the edges here, a couple here. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way. Okay. And last box. Okay, so the next time I come out here, I'm gonna have to go ahead and do the split, and we'll do a video on that. And then I'll also do a video on how to close them up for the winter. And if they don't have enough honey, they don't get the minimum 50 pounds for this year, I'm gonna have to provide them sugar water for them to survive as a supplement. And I will show you how to make that. All right, so that completes today's video on honey. It was nothing too exciting. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to extract honey. I would have loved to have shown you that. Okay, but basically what you would have done is these frames would have been filled with honey. Okay, capped honey. I would have had a plastic tote boxes. I would have had 2 of them. I buy them that fits 10. There's 10 frames in each one of these. I would have bought the tote boxes. I would have showed you them that fit 10 in each tote box. Okay, so I would have taken those frames out and put them inside there. Okay, so then I would have had the 20 frames, 10, 20 in the 2 tote boxes. I leave them out for a little bit. I bring them over there away from the hive, leave them out because they're going to be bees on them. Okay, they eventually will come over here because they go back home. Okay, and then I take those frames, I bring them inside the house, I scrape the cap off. Okay, when that time comes, I'll have to show you. Again, unfortunately, can't show you how I do. I use just, but it's simple. I use a fork just to break open the cap. The cap is obviously keeping the honey from oozing out. All right, so then I have an extractor. It's a big can looking thing that spins them. Okay, you put the frames in, you spin it, and all the honey comes out. You flip the frame around and you do it again. Anyways, it's actually a pretty simple process. It's sticky and messy, okay, needless to say. But it's in the drum, and then when it's in that drum, you can then now filter it through a screen mesh, any wax, okay, into a bigger jar. And then, into a big jar, yep, and then into little jars. So generally in a year, you can do that twice a year, extract. You extract sometime late June, okay? And then again around this time of year. So this year, I wasn't expecting to get honey. I was hoping, I was a little bit, but I wasn't expecting too much because this is a new hive. They're building up their hive. So I was just going to be happy with them having enough honey for themselves. They barely have enough honey for themselves, so I'm definitely not taking any honey from this hive this year. But next year, definitely next year, pending nothing happens during the winter, okay, we should be able to extract 120 pounds of honey from this. Okay, maybe even more, give or take 10 pounds. But anyways, that is how to do this. How to deal with a beehive, how to look for mites. I showed. We found the queen. Good news, we found 2 queens. So now I have work to do. I got to find out or make sure the knowledge that I think I know is right. I'm going to take that queen bee and bring her to over here and start a new hive. I'm going to split the hive before they swarm for the year. Okay, so when I do that, you'll be the first to watch me do it, and looking forward to that. All right, so thanks again. Thanks for watching the Strength Equals show. Remember, good nutrition will make you strong, and honey is great nutrition. So as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.